Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Alright, you guys are going to be right here as I make some rice in my rice cooker because I like doing stuff like that while I'm making actual content on this channel. I don't know why I'm like this, but I appreciate your acceptance. Alright, so this is what we're doing. Kyrie Irving talked, let me get my head right. Kyrie Irving, KD played basketball together some capacity yesterday, was photographed. I'm not really sure what it was. Probably just a practice game, regular practice. Not a team practice, but when guys come together and just play ball, in the summertime. So I don't think much more of it than that. As I always tell you guys, hoopers hoop, hoopers hoop. You know what I mean? However, in a situation like this, it does stand the reason why they might not necessarily be complete enemies. You know what I mean? If you want to just kind of read it, what there is to see there, yeah, it's pretty easy to tell that they're not exactly in a space where they can't be in the same space. And I always told you guys I never thought there was no problem between them at all. In fact, I think they're very much on the same page. I think they're good friends, and I think they're trying to, they're still on the same page as it pertains to wanting the best for Kyrie Irving. I think that's ultimately what it's all about. I don't know if they're still on the path of getting what it is they're hoping to get, but I don't see that situation as KD saying Kyrie is a problem in any way, shape, or form. I see the complete and utter opposite. So, that's what I tell you guys. Now, I will admit, I don't know any of these people. I'm not behind the scenes, and I do run with my tea leaves sometimes a little bit too much. In fact, one of my friends told me, "You don't know what you're talking about. You're just talking around the situation." Yes. As it pertains to something else entirely. So yeah, I need to get better in that area. However, what I do see in that situation, what I can see very clearly, is that KD and Kyrie are on the same page as it pertains to they can play basketball in the same room without there being any issue whatsoever. And if that's the case, it lends itself to us putting to bed the notion of otherwise. Like Skip Bayless wants you to think, or some of the other guys that I want to push that narrative. I don't believe that there's any reason why they can't communicate going forward if there were such a disagreement. That's essentially what I'm saying. If they were to have a disagreement that would require them to talk, they won't be able to do that. And so that's all we need to know as people that don't know them, in my humble opinion. That's all we really need to know. Now, as far as anything else in regards to that particular situation, I would just say I'm happy that Kyrie is getting consistent basketball play in the summertime. As I said in one of the videos I made recently, he's been really out there, just like a lot of these guys, making sure that they're playing the game at the pace necessary, at the level necessary to stay in the shape and get in the shape that is required in your off season. So that's what you want to see from your stars. That you want to see that from everybody. You want to see the role players in these buildings as well during August and July and all of that. Working under their conditioning. And I think, look, a lot of what has been said about Anthony Davis not touching a basketball until April or whatever it was. When we zoom out, you know how much time he's had to get in shape? Yeah, it would have been great if he would have poured his entire time into getting in shape, but I do believe that it is healthy for people to decompress, especially when things don't go successful. And we had a bad season. He was in an injury season, and it's probably good for him to decompress away from basketball if it's not a complete and utter obsession for him. You know what I mean? People need to decompress, man. Just because I love the game doesn't mean I don't need to step away from it at certain times in my life to refresh and rethink and get resorted in other areas so I can come back to basketball and give it my all. And I just wanted to kind of revisit that because I look at it that way. I'm not saying I know what AD may have done with his time, but what I can say is getting away from basketball can be great for some guys. You got to decompress, man. You got to get away from what it is that otherwise frustrates you and puts you in a position to feel as if you are feeling overwhelmed or stressed or too, unable to do whatever it is that you need to be able to do at a very, very high level. And that's key to it as well. What he's going to be responsible for this upcoming season, what he's going to be responsible for the duration of his superstar level career, it's going to require for him to be in shape, mind, body, and soul. So I don't have any problem now that I've zoomed out from the situation I don't have any problem as a Laker fan with what AD did in regards to his offseason as it pertains to stepping away from the game and not touching the ball. I would only think it were a problem if he had the personality of someone who obsesses over the game like Kobe Bryant. I would think something of that. Or if it was somebody that, you know what I mean, just, a pure gamer that just can't live without the game. It's like, okay, why are you stepping away from your passion? Is there something wrong? But if that's not his passion in that degree, if it's not that level, then and he's great at it and he makes a living at it, and that's cool, man. Go find your other interests. Go do some art. Go do some music. Go travel the world. Whatever you want to do. I mean, it's your life. You know what I mean? So I think fans, as I always say, fan entitlement is a real thing. We're gonna start using that a little more since they've been talking about player entitlement and player and what is it? Entitlement, and I can't forget the other word, but basically when players get the preferential treatment. So I think it becomes a situation where we realize that if we want the art to improve, then the fans' opinions and what we're drawn to must to improve. So that's the thing. All right, so I'm talking about the NBA as a whole. Obviously, we're still waiting on the Donovan Mitchell situation. You guys know I look at that in a very extreme way. I think if that trade gets done before Brooklyn does what they're supposed to be doing in regards to trading Kevin, if they still trade Kevin, will ultimately be impossible if this Donovan Mitchell Knicks Utah thing happens and the price is as outstanding as it's being requested by Danny Ainge and Utah Jazz. So we've talked about that, but that's really what it is. I'm very hopeful that they don't mess up the market further. So that's the thing. Something else too. Ja Morant news. I don't know. I think it was some Ja Morant news. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I don't know. I think I've already talked about it. Him and Draymond Green talking about they're gonna come together on Christmas Day, I believe it is, have lunch with their family or something like that after the game. It's going to be some exciting games going to be played on Christmas Day. Of course, we're looking forward to all of them. Dallas, and we talked about with the Lakers and LeBron James. Of course, today, speaking of the King, look for him to play in Seattle. He's going to be playing in Jamal Crawford's league today, along with Paolo Banchero and Chet Holmgren. DeJounte Murray's going to be involved in that one as well. Isaiah Thomas, as I told you guys, so look out for that today. Don't know what time, but NBA.com should have it listed. And, yeah, man, it's looking pretty good out there. Guys are just getting in shape. Guys are getting ready. Teams are still trying to put themselves together. Obviously, the Lakers have the 2 picks on the table for Kyrie only at this point. A lot of discussion has been made about the Indy trade. We know that that's also a plan B for the Lakers if it has to happen. To where we don't get Kyrie Irving. We feel that's a decent consolation prize and makes us a good enough team to have a puncher's chance in the Western Conference. But no more than that, unfortunately. It will be relying upon health. I think something else that stuck with me, Skip Bayless. I was going to make a great video, but Skip Bayless cleaned up his statement. He was challenging LeBron James, saying that he didn't believe LeBron James could lead a team to an NBA championship in year 20 at age 37, 38. And then he cleaned it up by saying if he didn't have the requisite pieces enough to make a team play. In other words, he's just in a blanketed way, throwing doubt on LeBron James as if it's something special. That's any and all stars. If they don't have enough, they're not leading anybody anywhere. Period. That's everybody. But I would still, if I were LeBron James, kind of take that and be like, thank you. I'm going to roll with that. Because essentially what he's saying is that you are not going to be able to complete the task ahead of you at all. You have no chance, no hope. And if you are LeBron James, you've been to way too many NBA finals, had way too many journeys to ever start a season with that in mind. Now, last year it became clear the team wasn't going to be able to compete. And if we have a team like that this season, if our roster looks like that, it's not. He's right. You can't do enough. You can't win a championship without enough. But if I'm LeBron James, I don't care about the end of that statement at all. Skip Bayless has challenged you and said you can't win the championship this year. Period. Never mind who's on the team, who ain't on the team. I'm telling you, he said you can't do it. Because all we got is all we got. So regardless if we get a little better or worse, he doesn't think we're going to have enough. So let that be a challenge. Skip Bayless always doing stuff like that. But today's challenge, the one that he said yesterday, and I saw the video of it today, but it was actually on the 19th. Challenge LeBron James. It sounded a certain different kind of way. I took it a certain way. I like that. I like that, Skip. You really challenged him. If I'm LeBron James, I'm going to take that excerpt, I'm going to splice it, and I'm only going to take the part of it that I can hold my hat on, which is I ain't good enough to win. And I'm going to play that as much as I need to. For motivation, you know. Because at the end of the day, I think LeBron James can win a championship if he has enough. I think if we retool our team, we'll have a good chance of winning it next year. A better chance of winning it next year than we will this year, because some of those pieces we have, we kind of do a little more with. They may grow up a little better, etc. More cap space next year, in theory. So I like where we're headed, but this upcoming season, it's going to be tough because there's so many other teams that are really, really talented. We're just one of several teams that have a chance. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. Even if we do Kyrie, even if we get Buddy Hield, it was just one of the squads. Top 8 team, maybe. Like, literally, maybe. And that's not knocking us at all. I think a top 8 team probably this season may have to win 45 games. That's what I'm telling you. Like, that's completely a good season. Just this year, it's going to be more competitive than it was last year. So we got to adjust our thinking for what success means. And teams who get off to a good start, you know, they probably got a good chance of maintaining it if they do the right things. But those who get off to a tough start, obviously, in a competitive situation like what I'm talking about, it's hard to catch up, buddy. It's very hard to catch up. So, yeah, that's why I want the Lakers to, have some things fall in our favor. Obviously, it's not within our control, but I would love for that scenario to play out so that we can complete our team before the start of the schedule. Because I don't know that we can win some of those early games in the season without the team being complete. So as a Laker fan, that is my concern. What else? Yeah, man, not a whole lot there. Everything is old news at this point. Maybe something's going on while I'm not looking right now. But that's pretty much what I got for you, man. I'm going to finish this rice. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching.